Lesson 8, Carbohydrates. Most people are familiar with carbohydrates, a type of macromolecule, especially when it comes to what we eat. To lose weight, some individuals adhere to low-carb diets. Athletes, in contrast, often carb load before important competitions to ensure that they have enough energy to compete at a high level. Carbohydrates are, in fact, an essential part of our diet. Grains, fruits, and vegetables are all natural carbohydrate sources that provide energy to the body, particularly through glucose, a simple sugar that is a component of starch and an ingredient in many staple foods. Carbohydrates also have other important functions in humans, animals, and plants. Scientists classify carbohydrates into 3 subtypes: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are simple sugars, the most common of which is glucose. In monosaccharides, the number of carbons usually ranges from 3 to 7. Most monosaccharide names end with the suffix -ose. If the sugar has an aldehyde group, it is an aldose, and if it has a ketone group, it is a ketose. Depending on the number of carbons in the sugar, they can be trioses, 3 carbons, pentoses, 5 carbons, and/or hexoses, 6 carbons. In humans, glucose is an important source of energy. During cellular respiration, energy releases from glucose, and that energy helps make adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Plants synthesize glucose using carbon dioxide and water, and glucose in turn provides energy requirements for the plant. Humans and other animals that feed on plants often obtain glucose from catabolized starch. Galactose, part of lactose or milk sugar, and fructose, found in sucrose, in fruit, are other common monosaccharides. Disaccharides form when 2 monosaccharides undergo a dehydration reaction, or a condensation reaction, or dehydration synthesis. During this process, one monosaccharide's hydroxyl group combines with another monosaccharide's hydrogen, releasing a water molecule and forming a covalent bond. A covalent bond forms between a carbohydrate molecule and another molecule, in this case, between 2 monosaccharides. Scientists call this a glycosidic bond. Common disaccharides include lactose, maltose, and sucrose. Lactose is a disaccharide consisting of the monomers glucose and galactose. It is naturally in milk. Maltose, or malt sugar, is a disaccharide formed by a dehydration reaction between 2 glucose molecules. The most common disaccharide is sucrose, or table sugar, which is comprised of glucose and fructose monomers. A long chain of monosaccharides linked by glycosidic bonds is a polysaccharide. The chain may be branched or unbranched, and it may contain different types of monosaccharides. The molecular weight may be 100,000 moles or more depending on the number of joined monomers. Starch, glycogen, cellulose, and chitin are primary examples of polysaccharides. Plants store sugars in the form of starch. In plants, an amylose and amylopectin mixture, both glucose polymers, comprise these sugars. Plants can synthesize glucose, and they store the excess glucose beyond their immediate energy needs, as starch in different plant parts, including roots and seeds. The starch in the seeds provides food for the embryo as it germinates and can also act as a food source for humans and animals. Enzymes break down the starch that humans consume. For example, an amylase present in saliva catalyzes, or breaks down this starch into smaller molecules, such as maltose and glucose. The cells can then absorb the glucose. Glycogen is the storage form of glucose in humans and other vertebrates, and is comprised of monomers of glucose. Glycogen is the animal equivalent of starch, and is a highly branched molecule, usually stored in liver and muscle cells. Whenever blood glucose levels decrease, glycogen breaks down to release glucose in a process scientists call glycogenolysis. Cellulose is the most abundant natural biopolymer. Cellulose mostly comprises a plant's cell wall. This provides the cell's structural support. Wood and paper are mostly cellulosic in nature. In conclusion, are carbohydrates good for you? Some people believe that carbohydrates are bad and they should avoid them. Some diets completely forbid carbohydrate consumption, claiming that a low-carbohydrate diet helps people to lose weight faster. However, carbohydrates have been an important part of the human diet for thousands of years. Artifacts from ancient civilizations show the presence of wheat, rice, and corn in our ancestors' storage areas. As part of a well-balanced diet, we should supplement carbohydrates with proteins, vitamins, and fats. Contain soluble and insoluble elements. The insoluble part, fiber, is mostly cellulose. Fiber has many uses. It promotes regular bowel movement by adding bulk, and it regulates the blood glucose consumption rate. Fiber also helps to remove excess cholesterol from the body. Fiber binds to the cholesterol in the small intestine, then attaches to the cholesterol and prevents the cholesterol particles from entering the bloodstream. Cholesterol then exits the body via the feces. Fiber-rich diets also have a protective role in reducing the occurrence of colon cancer. In addition, a meal containing whole grains and vegetables gives a feeling of fullness. As an immediate source of energy, glucose breaks down during the cellular respiration process, which produces ATP, the cell's energy currency. Without consuming carbohydrates, we reduce the availability of instant energy. Eliminating carbohydrates from diet may be necessary for some people, but such a step may not be healthy for everyone. See you in the next lesson.